Hello, Leo and Leo risings. We all prepare for eclipses in different ways, and I think that I probably really want to caveat this reading with a little bit of advice to not be frightened. It's energy that does bring up profound change, and it's change that's out of our scope of control. It's a karmic rerouting. Wherever it turns up in our chart is the place to focus in on, and to really kind of batten down the hatches and to avoid resistance when it comes to this change, and to really remember that this is a co-creation process, that this change is happening for a great purpose that is going to course correct your journey into a space that is going to be really fruitful and beneficial for your soul purpose. Now, your beautiful Leo soul is possibly at the end of its tether at the moment, because this eclipse is playing out in your 10th house, the realm of our public life, our career, our vocational goals. So to have an eclipse play out here, possibly something that's you've been manifesting, it could also be something that takes you quite by surprise. If you have been kept up at night with feelings of what the F am I doing? Am I wasting my time? Why am I pouring so much energy into this particular path? This doesn't feel right for me anymore. This is not ringing my bells. I can't do this anymore. It used to work and now it doesn't. I am sensing that you have been sort of kept up at night about worrying about this part of your life. How we're perceived and our public reception for a Leo is, a gorgeous place. It actually can make us feel quite grounded. I think you'll find on your chart that Taurus rules your 10th house, which is a Taurian energy, is quite about stability and grounding and sensuality and comfort and relaxation and all that kind of stuff. So to have so much of yourself in your public perception seems to work for you, and that's perfect. But there is something about this that just isn't working the way that it used to. The eclipse is playing out at 10 degrees of Taurus. Now, when we think about the tarot and the zodiac, the card for that decan is the 5 of Pentacles, which is the card of desolation, of being left out in the cold, of feeling like you have no resources, that you've been ostracized or shut out of a community that once provided you with warmth, or you can't see the offer of that space for you anymore. Interesting that this would be the tarot card to look at around an eclipse, because the following card directly after the 5 of Pentacles is the 6, which is the kind of opposite of that sentiment. The 6 is the Lord of material success, of abundance, of charity, of having enough to lend out to others or to provide for others. And there's no middle ground here. It switches from the 5 to the 6 very quickly in the tarot. Now, Uranus is sniffing around at 14 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is our harbinger of complete revolution and upheaval, and of flipping the script, and like changes that can come out of left field. It's the truth teller. Uranus is absolutely a truth teller, and it's an intellectual planet, but it is ideas outside of the scope of convention. So that's been in your 10th house for some time now. So we do have that anchor point to work with, but the eclipse is triggering this 5 of Pentacles sentiment. I wonder if you're worried that if you change tack as far as your career or your public self, if you change or reroute what it is that you provide, your offer of service, that you'll be left with nothing, that you've been doing this for so long that you have no other way of contributing or communicating, and that your sense of stability and material grounding will be taken from you. I would offer my 2 cents on that and say that that's not going to happen, that these changes are imminent and they potentially might be turbulent, but we're co-creators here, and we're going to work with this energy, and the new path that you find yourself on is going to be the right one. So if that's providing you with any sort of comfort at the moment, I know eclipses I keep on pressing the point, but do reach out if you're feeling destabilized at the moment. Reach out to those that you can share a common language with around these sorts of things. I mean, you're listening to horoscopes, so I imagine that you would have your own relationship with the planets and our relationship to them. Everything's going to be fine. The change is important, and it's going to be beneficial for your success in the long term. Now, to step aside from this chaos, just for the moment, I do want to remind you that we've got some really, really beautiful energy with Venus and Jupiter in an exact conjunction at the very, very, very same time. So they've held hands at 27 degrees in Pisces, and that falls in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house talks about sex and psychological change and regeneration and rebirth and the sort of, I hasten to use the term underbelly, but I guess it's the sort of the stuff that binds us together as souls that is taboo, and the stuff that's less revered publicly. So it's an interesting disparity between your very public self and also this real sense of optimism and expansion and beauty and sensuality that's playing out in your 8th house. This could be a moment for you to enter your sexuality again after a time away. This could be a time to claim ownership over these different powers that you have in this area. Now, I'm not saying, lock yourself away and fuck the pain away, but maybe I know that the public self is very important to a Leo rising, and there's no shame in that because Leos work from their heart at all times. Leo's directly across the way from Aquarius, so you must remember the synergy and the dance that happens between the Aquarian soul, which is all about the collective and less to do with themselves. There's the self-focused, and then there's the focused on others. And to be a Leo and to be self-focused is a beautiful complement to some of the more Aquarian ideals of the collective focus. This is going to be interesting, turbulent times for you. Your public perception is going through a big change. I wonder if the time is now to melt away into some sort of rebirth for you. Your ability to cope with rebirth, your ability to deal with, death and the little death. That's what the 8th house is, all of that beautiful, horrific stuff that makes up our human experience. Venus is in there, Jupiter's in there. I would suggest that I'd err more on the sensual side of this coin. See how that resonates. See, and obviously, as always, there's no push. But if you're feeling naturally inclined to reactivate some of these parts of your psyche, these parts of your experience, then by all means, absolutely do so. And that will aid your spirit, that will aid your energy to be able to pick tools up again and reconfigure whatever happens in your public realm. I'm going to leave it there, Leo. I hope that this is making sense. Do let me know how you like this format. This is just an eclipse special, I suppose. The eclipse is all playing out in my 3rd house of communication, so I'm regenerating and rejuvenating that to see if it works, or it could fail. Who knows? It'll be up to the eclipse. But I love you very much. I'm thinking of you all the time. Send me a message if this is resonating. That'd be lovely. Even if it's a psychic message, I'll receive it. Much love to you and yours. Good luck with the eclipse. It's all for the greater good. And I'll be speaking to you again in 2 weeks so we can deal with the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Take care.